Welcome to What's the Point? Today we shift gears to youth participation in politics and leadership. In the last parliament, majority of lawmakers were young people. But if you look at their performance and scorecard, it's not very impressive. So what's the point of young people participating in politics, leadership and governance? Billian Ojiwa is a parliamentary aspirant for Mathare constituency. He's a community organizer, community worker and an activist. So does it mean that you were born a leader or you grew into leadership?
I can't say I was born a leader, but there are things that triggered me to want to do the things that I am doing now or have been doing. One was my upbringing, because I was born and raised in Mathare. And some of the things that I see is the gap that has been there. We've not been seeing leaders from Mathare. We've not been having role models. So my motivation in life has always been to be the big brother.
So why would you make a drastic change to venture into murky waters of politics, and mostly within Nairobi County?
Politics is everything. The things that I've been doing, I have been providing scholarships for students. We've been supporting businesses within Mathare. We have a resource center, a hub within Mathare. And if you look at it, these are things that should be done by the government. So I don't want to limit myself, because within the organization I limit myself. So I wanted to make sure that this circle is big enough to accommodate more people within the community. So I'm not looking at it as politics, I'm looking at it as extending the work that I've been doing within the community and reaching more. Unlike the leaders who've been elected, who have been getting our priorities upside down. So we want to tell them how it should be done. That's why I joined politics.
Talking about, of course, the leaders that have been there. For the last two elections, we have seen majority of young people coming out to venture into politics. Some of them have got an opportunity to be elected in National Assembly or Senate. But we haven't seen an impressive performance from these young people.
Some of these young people found themselves into those spaces, and the lifestyle that it comes with it, the power, the money, young people, if you're not prepared, you can easily be carried away with it. But for me, my upbringing have been different, and I don't want to be an MP and leave it there. I want to grow more. So I want to be intentional by the things that I want to achieve in Mathare. So I don't see myself getting into that direction. We have good examples too. So as we mention the bad ones, let's also highlight the good ones so that it motivates young people, and also educate the voters to know that, you know, we are better. And I'm not selling the youth. I am selling the experience that I have. I'm not selling that I am young. I'm not selling that I am from Mathare. I'm selling the things that I am able to do for the people of Mathare.
In politics, of course, they always talk about godfather. So if it's either you are nominated by a political party which is very strong within a specific region, or you have a godfather. So who would we say is your godfather, if any, in politics?
I have not had a godfather, but I've had mentors. I've had people who came, who believed in me. One of them is former Deputy Governor Jonathan Mweke. He's been able to walk through with me. Ken Okoth was one of them. He would send me all the time. He would tell me things to do and things not to do. My party has been kind enough. They did an opinion poll when I won. They didn't look at me as a young person. And even now, they've been a big support, huge support.
Is there a specific role that faith is playing in your politics or journey in terms of leadership?
Of course, there is. Like last night, I came home late and I just lit the candle and pray. So sometimes even before I leave the house. And I have also other spiritual support system. While I was in the car here, one of the mamas from Mathare called me and she was like, you know, before you leave the house, just tell God to hold your hand every single day. So faith and God has played a big role in my life to where I am today. The battles were too big for me to fight, but when God came through, I saw his hand for sure in this. I saw his hand. There are days I would come home so empty, but after praying, I would feel satisfied. And also the challenges with politics. You know, our politics is extremely expensive. And the more you get into politics, the more your friends run away from you. Because everybody feel now you want to start asking them for money, which we do. So I also have people who don't even pick my calls. But I think something that kept me grounded has been God.
Awesome. At least you have a God the Father. Thank you so much for that. I think it's very personal to just see what faith can play in our lives in terms of our passion and what drives us in what we do in our communities. Yeah. But an element of what I would want you to speak to is the narrative of youth or young people are the leaders for tomorrow. And this is a narrative that has been spoken to us when we were very young until this particular point in life. You are the leader of tomorrow. You are the leader of tomorrow. So what is your leadership of tomorrow presenting to the people of Mathare in terms of the agenda specifics that you have for the residents of Mathare, for instance?
I don't believe on the narrative of we're the leaders of tomorrow. We're the leaders of now, because this is when we are at our prime. This is now when we have crazy ideas that can change our communities. This is when we have the energy to do so much. This is when we can be everywhere. This is when we are still super healthy. So I want to encourage young people, and I know God will make it happen that I'll get to Parliament. I'll create a pool of where we can mentor young people to get into these spaces. So some of the agendas that I have for the people of Mathare, I think one is education. I want to improve our education system by heavily investing into education infrastructures of our education. I want to improve the bursaries. Right now, the mamas receive 5,000 bursaries, Kenya shillings bursaries. My plan is to create a committee that will handle the bursaries, and the list that anybody will get from that pool will be 20,000. And I want to do this in collaboration with the other players so that we are able to have a pool that our kids can go to school without worrying. I started a partnership with the German embassy to see how we can get scholarships for our students, both here at the German school, but also abroad, universities. I want to go to the US to visit our students who are graduating from Harvard or big universities. So I have a big dream for Mathare in terms of education. You know, Mathare has a critical mass. All or most of the companies target us when they're working on their products. So I want to negotiate for a deal with the companies that any product that is coming to Mathare, we have to have 1 or 2 or 3 of our youths working in those companies so that we are able to make sure that our young people get opportunities into spaces where they can grow. And I believe with that, in the next 15 years, we'll have a CEO, somebody who is from Mathare, who only lacked an opportunity, got an opportunity, used that opportunity, and will be able to tap more young people from Mathare. Once we have these social issues covered, then we won't have security issues. Mathare is funny that you have general problems, and then every village have their own problem. So
but in all the problems, what is a specific that paints you as a leader?
For me, is education.
But something that is also to note, in 2019, you are very active in terms of some of the reportings of extrajudicial killings that were happening within Mathare. And there was in fact, that time you were trending on Twitter, find Billian Ojiwa. What was that all about?
I was just fatigued. I was just super tired. I just needed a break from everything. Yeah, sometimes we have those moments. And I checked myself into a retreat center, but I didn't tell anyone. I am that person, when something is eating me, I just retreat. Yeah, so, but then a lot of people were missing and being found dead. So it created a wave that, maybe he's also dead. I was fine.
Was it a publicity stunt you were trying to pull?
No. I didn't even know that was happening because I remember I'd booked myself in Karen. So where we were, it is just prayers, eating, and I told them I was also fasting then. So I could only eat in the evening. So meaning the whole day I would be in my room, pray, cry, go outside, pray, cry. But when I was done, because I think that same weekend I was having an activity in Kawangware here, giving uniforms. So I decided to come back early. I took a matatu, sat in front with the driver, while I was trending. They didn't even know it was me. Yeah. So it wasn't a publicity stunt. I don't have those stunts. I think my work speaks for itself. So I don't need to have a publicity.
Do you feel like the things that pushed you to a closet of prayer have been resolved or are being resolved? If they are from a community, the pain you had for your community that you lead, do you feel like this is it, the moment that you are now going to be the next member of parliament come 9th August, God willing?
Yes. I think a lot of them I have been able to resolve, and more will be done once I get into parliament. And it's because, by then I just got back from the US, from the leadership training. The expectations were huge. I was trying to find my niche, how to, try to put into use the knowledge that I had, the experiences. So it was just too much. I was also young then, just married and trying to settle in. So I felt like there was just too much around me, but I have been able to get a balance.
Do you feel like the electorate expect much from young leaders?
So once you declare yourself as a leader, there's no boundary. There's a thin line between you as a young person and yeah.
Maybe as we come towards the close of this interview, we have seen some appointments that has been made by the current regime geared towards the old, if you will call it as such, positions that are ideally meant for young people. And the president has come out to say that most of the young people that you would preferably give those kind of positions doesn't show interest, or they get in there and then they get corrupted. So he prefers to working with the old than young people. What would be your take on the issue of graft, corruption in this country as a leader?
They'll always get excuses or find excuses to maintain the status quo, because you don't know when you will find yourself in that space again. You say, let me take the best that I can from that pot, so that when even there's no tomorrow, I am still able to keep something for myself. And the greedy is just terrible. But as young people, there are things that we are trying to do away with. I think for me, things that I'll keep off, even if I die poor, is graft. I'll make sure that everything is done straight, so that one day when we are seated somewhere and the big questions or the hard questions are asked, I am able to defend myself. Maybe the president would have said their experience, but we're also looking for that experience. So just give us that opportunity. Some of us will perform.
Wow, awesome. What will be your last take or appeal to people who are watching you right now, mostly the residents of Mathare, as we head to the August?
I want to tell them freedom is coming. Very soon we'll be saying, so help me God. I want everybody in Mathare, that the day we'll be swearing in and saying, so help me God, I want everybody to hold the Bible so that they can pray for us, for the people of Mathare, pray for me as a leader, and that we're able to do the things that I've promised to do. And we have a few days to election. We have an opportunity to decide the destiny of our community. We have an opportunity to just paint a different picture of Mathare. So don't be carried away by money. The government is giving out now unga. Now they perceive us as opposition. Take the unga, but make the right decision, because that decision, you will live with it for the next 5 years. So don't waste it. I know you'll vote for me. I know you love me, but I also love you, and I promise to deliver my promises. Thank you.
Most welcome, and thank you too for gracing What's the Point. And as the team, we wish you the very best.
Asante sana.
Looking forward to hosting you again as a member of parliament.
Asante sana. Thank you so much.